Greetings, Bobby W6IWN here. Today we're going to check out the Radioddity MMDVM Hotspot and show you how to set it up for DMR. So this thing doesn't just do DMR, it also supports P25, D-Star, Yaesu System Fusion, and NXDN. Today I'm going to be showing you how to set it up for DMR radio. Specifically, I'm using the Radioddity GD168, but this will work for any DMR radio. So let's get right to it. So what is a hotspot? All right, in this little tiny box here, there's actually a computer. It's called a Raspberry Pi. And that Raspberry Pi runs a Linux distribution called Pi-Star, which allows you to connect to your digital networks. Also, there's a hat on top of it, which is an adapter that transmit and receives and converts your radio signal into the digital modes and allows you to talk with your radio via the hotspot instead of a repeater. So these hotspots run on Wi-Fi network. This particular one does not plug into a LAN. So I'm going to show you how to set it up, configure it to your network, also configure the settings to get you going on the DMR network. All right, before we dive into the setup, I want to show you the dashboard and how this thing works to kind of give you an idea. So right now, what we're looking at is the dashboard on the Raspberry Pi in there on the Pi-Star on my hotspot. So I'm looking at this through HTML on my web browser. Once it's all set up, you'll get an IP address, and that's how you log into it. So stand by, I'll show you how to do all this at the end. So what your dashboard is going to show you is all your statuses of what networks you're hooked up to, and see our mine are green, that means they're good. They can either show yellow or red, that means you have sort of problem. It's going to show your transmit and receive frequency that you set up your hotspot to, and your DMI ID and some other information. It's also going to show you, which I find valuable, is who's transmitting. So like right now there's someone transmitting. It's going to show them pop up here on the gateway activity. And if you'd like to go ahead and look them up, all you got to do is right click on their call sign, and I choose open in a new tab, or else it's going to divert you from this window. So then that's going to go ahead and take you to QRZ, and then look, you got this guy over here in England, so you can look all about him and check him out. So that's very handy. Also, it's going to show you if there's any loss. It looks like everyone's got a good signal here, but it's going to show the packets lost, including yours. So if they're garbled or their signal isn't good, maybe you can notify them, or if yours is bad, you can try to figure that out. So there's lots of things you can do in here. Mainly, we're going to be checking out the configuration today, but this is the dashboard section. There's also an admin section here, and then you have a lot more options under here, which we'll dive into later. So let's get right to the configuration and show you how you're going to set this up. But in order to get to this configuration, unfortunately, this Pi comes shipped with a much later version of the Pi-Star, and the update method I found is kind of outdated. So I'm going to show you how to just load the newest version of Pi-Star right on your SD card and start from fresh. I felt that was the fastest way. I did notify Radioddity about this, and they're going to try to contact their factory and see if these can just be shipped out with the new version. So let's hope that can happen here soon. All right, it's working right now. Let's unplug it and start from fresh and show you how you can get yours working too. All right, I'm going to show you how to set this up with the freshest version of Pi-Star 4.21 at the time of the video on December 9th, 2024. If you're not into that and you want to use the Radioddity instructions on the website, simply go to the hotspot page on their website, and I'll put all the links below in the video description. And if you scroll to the bottom, it's going to say download the user manual or setup instructions on our download page. So if you click on that, it's going to take you to here. And then if you scroll to the bottom, the downloads page, you're going to see the RHS-H1 hotspot. Go ahead and click on that, and this will pop up. You want to click on setup instructions, and that's going to download this PDF, which is going to show you how to set up for version 3.417, which is already pre-installed on their SD card. That will work. There's just a lot more setup and downloading process to that where I just reverted and put the fresh OS on it. Made it a lot easier for me. So if you want to go ahead and follow my method, I'm going to show you how to do that. There's a couple things you need to download to get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go to raspberrypi.com/software. Once again, I'll put all the links below in the video description. And then select the appropriate operating system you have, and then go ahead and download this image writer. Also, you're going to want to go to pistar.uk and download the latest version of Pistar. You're going to go ahead and find this. Once you get there, just go down to downloads, and then this page will load. You're going to want the one on the bottom that says Pistar RPI version 2.17 or whatever the latest version is at the time, but you want the RPI version. So go ahead and click that and download that. And then once that's done, I'm going to show you how to put that in the imager here. So let's go ahead and open up the imager and see what that looks like. All right, here's your imager. So with some camera magic, we're going to fast forward until this download's done, and we'll show you how to put it on there. All right, now the download's done, go ahead and go to your downloads. All right, you're gonna see the version. What you want to do is right-click on it and extract. Extract it to anywhere you like. Doesn't matter to me. I'm just going to extract it right here to downloads. Okay, now you got your SD card out in your SD reader. Go ahead and pop it in your computer. Okay, now that it's in your computer, you're going to want to choose Device. So if you scroll down to the bottom here, you want to choose Pi 0 for this model. That covers the model 0, 0W, and 0WH. This has the model 0W in it, which means it has the Wi-Fi in it. So go ahead and select that. Choose your operating system. All right, this is where we're going to use that file that we downloaded. So if you go to the very bottom here, it's going to say use custom. Select a custom.img from your computer. IMG is an image, a bootable image. So go ahead and scroll to your downloads folder or wherever you extracted that image, and you're going to see the Pistar RPI version 4.21 or whatever version you downloaded. Go ahead and select that and choose open. Now you need to choose your storage. This is very important. You do not choose one of your hard drives in your computer. So confirm you're using your SD card. And I confirmed, yes, that is my SD card. You do not want to write a bootable image on your computer hard drive. All right, go ahead and select next. All right, it's going to pop up with this. Would you like to apply OS customization settings? Yes, go ahead and click edit settings. This is going to save you time. You can set up your Wi-Fi right now, so that way when you plug in your hotspot, it will boot up, connect to your Wi-Fi. You can log in and change your configuration rather than having to log into the hotspot, the other method, change your Wi-Fi in there, then log in. Yeah, it saves you a lot of time, trust me. So go ahead and choose edit settings. You don't want to select any of these on top. Ignore those. I had that for a different project I was using. So select configure wireless LAN. And this is where you need to enter your wireless LAN SSID, the name of it, and your password. Ensure they are correct or it will not work. So make sure those are correct. You don't want to mess with any of these other options. Go ahead and click save. And then yes. It's going to ask you all existing data on your SD card will be erased. So if you're using a different SD card, commit to this because it's going to erase it, which I have no problem with that. Go ahead. All right, it's going to prepare to write. This is going to take some time. And then once it's done writing, it's going to do a verifying. And that's going to take some time too, depending on your card and reader and computer system. I have had the verification for some reason on these Pistars fail before. Don't stress out. restart and just do it over and make sure that it verifies you and it tells you your card has been injected and you're ready to use. We'll show you that here in just a second. We'll fast forward. Verifying 99%, finalizing. All right, it worked perfect that time. So you're gonna know it was successful. It's gonna say the image has been written to your SD card. You can now remove the SD card. Go ahead and click continue. Pull out your SD card writer. The image, bootable image, is now written to the SD card. So that has the operating system and everything, and your Raspberry Pi should recognize that and boot. So make sure, note that you keep your radios to low power. I like to keep mine in the other room so it's not sitting right on my desk and I'm just transmitting into it even at low power. I like to keep it a little bit away. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug this in the other room where I keep it, and I'll be right back. All right, now that your hotspot's plugged in, it takes a few minutes for it to boot. So be patient, please. I'd give it at least 3 minutes. It says about 2, but I'll give it 3. You're gonna need to find out your IP address. So there's 2 ways to do it. Typically you just log in through your router, which I tried to do, but my internet service provider won't let you do that anymore, probably for security reasons. So if you look at the bottom of your router, there's gonna be an IP address and a password. Go ahead and just type that IP address in, the login information will come in, and then click in there to find your IP address. You're gonna have to go, each router is different, but check connected devices or something like that. In another case, you might have to go in through your internet service provider, which I have to, unfortunately. So you're gonna need to log into that and then go to your internet tab. It's gonna be different, I imagine, per provider, but it's gonna say devices on network or something of that means. You're gonna have to go ahead and scroll through and find your Raspberry Pi. And then look at the details on that. So if I look at the details here, it's gonna show me an IP address, 192.168.1.39. Let's go ahead and punch that into a web browser. 192.168.1.39, I believe it was. Oh, boom, what happened? Oh, we're logged in. Okay, that's a good thing. That means your Pi Star is connected to your network and is ready to be configured. All right, no mode is defined. Oh, okay, it already chose a mode. If it doesn't do that automatically for you, you're gonna wanna go ahead and select MMDV host simplex node. It should automatically do that like mine did. You need to be patient with this Pi and when it updates. That's one thing I need to tell you right now. Be patient as you're doing the configurations. It's got to reboot several times. And unfortunately, there's several sections as I'm scrolling through here you can see. And you can't just set them all up and go to the bottom and click apply changes, at least not to my knowledge. You have to go through on each section and then click. So if you change anything here, you have to change it here. It's going to reboot. You can't change it here, here, and here, and then go to the bottom and everything's set. So you got to do it step by step. So follow these steps closely, and I should hopefully have you on the air with DMR here soon. Okay, now we're logged into the Pi Star. Before we do anything with the configuration, we want to make sure this thing's up to date. So you're going to want to go up here and click on Expert. Then you're going to see 2 options up here, Update and Upgrade. So go ahead and click the Update option. And this isn't like Windows, this is Linux. So you don't just click Update and then it's done. It's going to go ahead and stop some service and do some updating. Once that says complete, you're going to need to go back into there and choose the upgrade for it to go ahead and finish installing those packages and updates. We'll jump right to that next. Okay, now it says update complete. Go back and click admin or configuration. How did we get there? Okay, back to expert. Now you want to click upgrade. And it's going to do a very similar operation here on the screen. All right, it looks like I am all up to date. Detected Pi Star 4.21 running on RPI. All right, now we're ready to go ahead and start our configuration. Okay, now that we've updated and upgraded and done a factory reset, it's time to do our configuration. So it should show up and look something like this. On the top, it should be set to MMDVM host and then simplex node. If not, set those and click apply changes and wait for it to reset. It does take some time. So let's make a note right now that there's several different apply changes buttons on here. That will only apply changes for the settings within that area there. And it's going to have to reset each time. So you can't just fill out the whole thing and then go to the bottom and click apply changes. Unfortunately, that would be just too easy. So let's start with the top one. And there's your host name. I prefer to leave that to Pi-Star. If you do change that, when you log in, you're going to need to use that as your login. So make a note if you change it. The second setting is going to be your node call sign. So let's go ahead and type in your call sign there. The next step is going to be your radio frequency. So you want to use a simplex frequency. Do not use one of your repeater frequencies or something. The hotspot does support UHF and VHF, but it's recommended that you use the UHF. So find a 70 centimeter simplex frequency. I like the 441.000. That's easy to remember, right, when you're programming. All right, now that we have that set, if you feel the need, you can give your latitude and longitude. I don't really want to give a pin on my hotspot, but if you do, go for it. You can type in your town, Reno, Nevada, we'll give them that. Your country, USA. And then under the URL, it already comes with this Pi-Star URL. So you can just go ahead and go to your QRZ page. And then go to your page. And then copy that. And copy that and go ahead and put it in here. All right, and leave it selected to manual. Node type, would you like it public or private? I'm gonna make my node private. It's just for me. You're gonna wanna have your APRS host enabled. And then there's a list, a drop-down list under that. And then if you select rotate, that's going to rotate through all of these. I don't recommend that. I'm in North America, so you see they're listed NOAM.APRS2.net. That's North America. Then below it is South America, and then Europe, Asia, and so forth. So select the appropriate one for your region. System time zone. Nice. Mine is already set properly, probably because I had it set up in my Pi-Star imager. Dashboard language, English. UK is the default. I'm going to select US. Even though I did try to pay attention before when I changed it and I didn't notice any difference, but I'm going to go ahead and select that. Now that we've got that selected, click apply changes. And you're going to need to be patient. See how all of them gray out. It's what it's doing. It's stopping the services and it's updating your settings. So you're not gonna be able to see what's going on for a second. Okay, now we're back at the dashboard and it's showing this new configuration, the MMDVM host configuration that popped up above what we were just in. And it was saying something about your modem. So I'm gonna show you just for DMR how to set this up. It also does D-Star in some other modes, your P25, your Yaesu System Fusion, and there's some other settings in here. I'm going to show you just DMR. The settings would be similar except you need to configure for those modes. So this is how to set it up for DMR. So I'm going to go ahead and select DMR mode. And then this is important too. Go to the bottom and it's going to say MMDVM display type. There's a ton of different displays on these. This one has the OLED 3, type 3. So don't panic when you first plug in. If you don't see the display on top showing anything, that is not going to work until you select these and apply these settings. So now that I've selected the display, we need to select our modem type. oh, the modem port. Let's leave that there and click Apply Changes. All right, now that the settings have refreshed once again, you're going to see some more options here under the DMR configuration. It's going to now show hotspot security. So if you do not already have a Brandmeister password, you need to go to brandmeister.network and register and set up and make a password. And you're going to want to enter that in here. And click Apply Changes. Okay, once again the hotspot has rebooted. So you're going to see a spot here for your DMR ID, and it's going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if you don't know your DMR ID or radio ID, go to radioddity.net and it will show you there. If you don't have one, you're going to have to get one, or you're not allowed to use DMR without it. So go ahead and copy that and then paste that into here. And once again, click Apply Changes. All right, now it's back in the configuration pages. And you can see we have our DMR mode selected. We've entered our call sign. Our DMR ID is in there. We've selected the frequency. It still shows our modem type. We have our APRS, everything's set there. We don't want to mess with that anymore. We want to go down here to the DMR configuration. So let's leave that at DMR gateway. Then you want to find your Brandmaster master. So you're going to have to do some research on the Brandmaster network if that's what you're going to use, and figure out which one for you. I know I'm using Brandmaster 3102 here in the United States. And then it's going to ask you for your hotspot security. So if you don't know the password for that, what you need to do is go to brandmeister.network and register. And then the same password you use there, you're going to go ahead and enter into your dashboard here. All right. So then you want to go below that and select Enable Brandmeister Network. All right. We're not going to mess with any of these other settings right now, and click Apply Changes once again. All right, you're going to notice if you're using Windows, this prompt's going to pop up. Do you want to save the password? And it's going to come up with your DMR ID number. Just click no. You don't want to do that. It's mistaken. It thinks it's the password to log into your Pi-Star. And don't do that, or else it's going to put in the incorrect information. So now that we've entered all those settings, let's double check. Yes, we are in DMR mode. We're on simplex node MMDVM host. We have our call sign, our DMR ID, our frequency, our modem is selected, our APRS. We've done our DMR gateway, we've entered our password. It's not going to show your password, so if you do change anything in this at any time, you have to re-enter your password. Make note of that. If I was just to click Apply Changes right now, it would not save my password. All right, it looks like everything's good. So we do have this mobile GPS configuration. You can actually plug your hotspot right into a battery pack and take it in your car and do a mobile hotspot off of your phone and use it mobile. You could walk in the park and do the same thing, or ride your bike if you feel the need. You would have to configure it with that. So you can set this up for the GPS and the APRS system. I'm going to go ahead and just leave that disabled. That's a whole nother video. Dashboard access. I'm going to keep everything private. This is just for me. Well, let's see. Is our DMR working? Go ahead and click on the dashboard. Oh, all right. Very nice. So we did enable the DMR mode, as you can see, and it is green. If it is not green, if it is yellow or red, you have a problem. One of your configurations is not set. It could be your modem. It could be your password. Same with the network status. Oh, excuse me, this would be one of your settings. Network status, if this is yellow, that would be your password is incorrect. It shows the frequency we chose. Everything is green, shows my ID here. Well, we got to give it a test. I'm not going to just jump on some talk group and give it a test, so we'll go to the parrot and we'll just test it. What parrot is it tests your audio and it copies it, and then it sends it back to you. That way you can adjust your audio configurations and see how you sound. So if you don't know how to, or you go to Parrot, I'll show you how to do that real quick. All right, so go ahead and open your CPS, your computing program software for your DMR radio, and then you want to make a new channel. So what I did is I named it Parrot, obviously, and then I type in my hotspot frequency, 441-000, 441-000. Make sure your channel type is set to digital and your transmit power low. You don't need to run turbo to your hotspot. Low should be just fine, unless you're maybe out in your garage or something really far away, but I wouldn't recommend setting your channels to high. You don't want to mess with your hotspot and overmodulate. TX permit, yes, always. And then you want to go down here to DMR mode and choose DMO simplex. And then go ahead and save that. Write that to your channel and then make sure you add the talk group in there. The Parrot talk group is talk group 9990. Go ahead and set that all up and write it to your radio. Now I'm on my Parrot channel in the Parrot talk group. Let's go ahead and give it a test. W6IWN Whiskey 6 India Whiskey November testing Parrot. W6IWN testing DMR setup. And if you listen on your radio,
W6IWN Whiskey 6 India Whiskey November.
So now
testing Parrot. W6IWN.
Now would be the time to adjust your mic gain or the audio enhance and see how the audio sounds to you on your radio before you jump on the other talk groups. Well, congratulations. Now you've set up DMR on your hotspot. You're ready to use it. But wait, before you close out and go too far, you want to save your configuration right now so you do not have to go through these steps ever again. So if you go to configuration, click on that tab, and then under there is a backup/restore tab. This is the same way you will restore your configuration after you have backed it up. So now you see this kind of weird thing. There is nothing you can really do over here, it looks like. But if you click on the green arrow on download configuration, just click once and be patient. You're going to notice in the top right hand of your browser is going to be a download starting. So if you're using Windows and Chrome, you're probably going to see that it's going to give you some insecure download blocked. Very important. Make sure you choose keep, or else it's not going to download your configuration folder and you're not going to have it when you need it. So simply to ever restore your configuration, all you do is log into your Pi-Star. You go to choose file. There is a button here. You don't click on the arrow. And then you would load that configuration file. And then you would be restored right back where you are. So I highly recommend backing up your Pi-Star before you go and play on DMR. Then you won't have to go through any of these steps again. I hope this helps you out. So if the Radioddity MMDVM Hotspot is something you're interested in, I will post links below in the video description. Right now, at the time of the video, they have it for $119. But if you use my link below in the video description, I'll give you $15 off. So I'll get it down to $104. That link also works for any purchase over $65 at Radioddity. I am in contact with them, and they are in contact with the factory to hopefully maybe get the SD cards updated, and they ship out a little more updated and less setup. But we'll see how that goes. It says it comes with a 16 gigabyte SD card. Mine came with a 32 gigabyte. I don't know if that was something different or what, but so it does come with it. The only thing you're going to need is a little tiny power supply, and if you just Google Raspberry Pi Zero power supply on Amazon or whatever, you're going to find one super cheap. So that's the only thing you're going to need is the power supply. All right, thanks for watching me, and I hope this got your Pi setup. This will work for any Raspberry Pi setup for the Pi Zero with that modem. If not, the same setup will work with any of them. You just need to select the proper modem in your DMR settings. Thanks for watching, and I hope to catch you on the next time. 7-3.